Oh,
There we are. We're live.
oh, oh, oh.
Say something, Harland.
Hello,
Say something, Harland.
hello.
Say
I
something.
said stuff. Did you hear me?
Perfect. Yep.
Okay.
Just wanted to do that. Awesome. Well, shit. Let's do this then. Record on this computer. Oh, let me name this real fast.
Recording in progress.
Oh, I think we're there. All right. Hey, shit. I don't. Oh, I don't know if anybody's even watching us. Nope. One person's watching us, and it was me because I had it up. No one's gonna watch this. That's all right.
But
It's
we got to air to get the kinks out.
got to get the kinks out. Yeah. This is the what? November 7th, week 9, post week 9 episode, which happens to be our inaugural episode. Boy, we started
Oh,
we're
perfect time. Perfect time.
timely.
Because had they got us beginning of the
Oh,
season, we'd look really bad right now.
I don't know if I could have done this after week 1.
Oh, you mean when did your team lose 40 to nothing? Did
No,
your team
but they might as well have. Oh, I didn't watch anything on TV for like 2 weeks, football related for like 2 weeks after that game. I couldn't do it. It was so
oh,
depressing.
listen, you act like you know. I don't know. I 40 to nothing to a rival at home. That was how
Uh,
we started the season.
yeah, we lost to a
That was
rival at
Green Bay,
home.
wasn't it? Yeah, it was
Yeah, and
Green Bay.
it was supposed to be the game. If you listen to Bears fans, that was supposed to be the game the Bears were going to go out and win like 70 to nothing, and like stake their claim in the
Because
rivalry.
Rogers was going and everything was
Rodgers
going to
is
be.
gone. This is the year that everything happens to work the way that every fan wants it to work, and then yeah, it didn't. They were terrible. They threw like 900 screen passes for 200 yards and a touchdown or something. I don't know what they did, but
uh, we just got destroyed. I think they sacked us. I think we got sacked 8 or 9 times that game. It was bad. It was bad. And I think I watched the whole game thinking, all right, this is only week one. This is week one. You get the kinks out. It's week one. Your team is obviously going to do better. And here we are, week nine, and the record of my team is 2-7. And how about the Bears?
well, they have played 9 games, and
Yeah, yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough going. It's rough going. I was saying before, I kind of wish we did this podcast in 1985 when we when we both had joy, and yeah, it would have been a lot better.
well, now here's the big difference between the time span between 1985 and now
Mm-hmm.
is the Giants have what three
Four,
Super Bowl
four,
four Super Bowl wins between they won what 86 and then
86, 90,
90.
2007,
Yes, and then
2011.
yeah. Uh, anyway, how about them 85 Bears?
See, I came on wearing the greatest quarterback of all time. Oh well, the greatest old quarterback in definitely Giants history, Eli Manning. And I was waiting for you to come in with your championship one, but I bet the Moths have got to it since it would be a sweetness
I
jersey.
was 10 when I wore that. The only thing that still fits me from when I was 10.
The hat you're wearing right now.
I was a big headed kid, so yeah, probably. Uh,
Oh man. And
yeah, I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. I was trying to think of the greatest Sid Luckman, the greatest Bears quarterback ever. I guess. Well, Jay Cutler from a statistical standpoint,
yeah.
but
Yeah, but
whatever. Do we want to do this? We've committed to this, so let's do
oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Let us. We need to talk about our teams from week 9. Do we want to go first? Should we should we rock paper scissors to determine who gets to
Man.
talk about theirs first? Well, you
Man,
know
I've
what?
been
Let's start with the Bears because they scored more points.
just we'll do that weekly from now on. Whoever the team
Whichever team
scores the
scores the
most.
most points, and there's chances that they'll tie with like zero.
Yep.
Might not be this week though. Coming up, Bears played the Saints in New Orleans, which when the season started, I was like, oh, that's a maybe win game. I don't know. The Bears might be good. The Saints might be good. I Anyway, they go down there. They don't have a quarterback. They have Tyson Bagent, who is fine. He's a free.
What? They don't
He's
have a quarterback.
The Bears don't have a quarterback. They have
That's not what Boomer said. Or
yeah, we'll talk about that later. But like, so they go down. Fields is still hurt. He doesn't. He's got his thumb fell off or whatever. Tyson Bagent, the undrafted free agent, who lit up the world at the combine because his dad is a professional arm wrestler.
Mhm.
Uh, Came in and he was fine, but he turned over the ball 4 times, and the Bears lost 24-17.
That actually seems like it was a competitive. I watched that game. It
Yeah,
it was a competitive game up until halftime. It was a good game to watch.
I think the Bears defense played their probably their best all around game of the season.
The
I mean,
offensive line didn't look bad either.
offensive line looked really good. So you, the Bears have two, maybe three really strong offensive line pieces that are all young, right? They drafted Darnell Wright in the first round with a number 9 pick, and he has been better than you could have hoped for as a rookie right tackle. And I think he's the highest graded rookie right tackle if you listen to PFF, and he's in the top half of right tackles in the NFL. They
Not in
have
ours.
they have their left tackle who just came back off of IR, who was a 6th round draft pick last year, Braxton Jones, and he's been good. And then they have the the monster out of Oklahoma State, whose name is going to escape me because I'm old right now. Tevin Jenkins,
Hmm.
at who's playing right guard. That guy plays some of the most violent offensive line. He will pursue a man and try to bury him on every snap. Every snap. He ended up grading out as the highest graded offensive lineman according to PFF this week. So the Bears actually have offensive line pieces. They don't have a center. They don't have a guy that can snap the ball. In fact, I think one of the snaps actually rolled to Bajent, and like it skipped, like skipping a rock across a pond.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know.
He had the Bears had 5 turnovers,
Yes,
four by the quarterback,
4 by the quarterback.
and one by the wide receiver who doesn't see the. I don't. He barely catches anymore with Bagent there. So how did he fumble? How did DJ Moore fumble when
And
he
it's like
only catches 2 passes a game now?
and it was his first fumble in like 3 years. But I guess if you only catch 2 passes a game, then you don't get a chance to fumble. Um, but it wasn't like he wasn't like hit and it bounced out. He was stripped. Like I mean, he got peanut punched or whatever, and
Yeah.
that happens. But I mean,
What
the
was
Bears
it?
defense. I mean, if you give up the ball 5 times, and many of them were in their own territory,
Mm-hmm.
and you only give up 24 points,
Solid, very solid
you've
game.
done something okay. Yeah, you've done all right.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It wasn't bad. Like I said, I've been watching a little bit more of these Bears games, and that was the game. I was like, okay, this is pretty good, especially at halftime. Like the wheels had definitely not fallen off before halftime. Like it was a solid game, and I thought y'all were going to beat the Saints, and
I,
then it did happen.
it was 17-17 going into the fourth. Like it wasn't like they ran away with it or
No,
anything.
it scores 24-7. Definitely didn't run away with it.
I'll tell you what, the Bears never are able to do under their current defensive scheme, and that is stop anything that happens over the middle of the field. Uh,
I know.
it doesn't
I know.
matter if it's a 2 yard pass, a 10 yard pass, a 20 yard pass. If it is over the middle of the field, the Bears do not stop it.
I'm gonna give the Saints credit. This Taysom Hill thing is new. It's pretty good. Like I like watching Taysom Hill play all positions, and he destroyed you. He didn't. He had a pretty good game. I get to mention another Giants legend in this. He is the first person in NFL history with 10 passes, 10 wide catches, and 10 rushes for touchdowns since Frank Gifford.
Frank
So
Gifford.
yes,
Frank
that's the Frank Gifford reference it there.
Frank the Tank. I don't know what
Mm.
Frank's Gifford's nickname was. I'm gonna call him Frank the Tank. Uh, wow.
Yeah, they threw that stat up over there on the airwaves.
I mean, that's a good stat to throw up, I guess. I
Mhm.
mean, shoot. Yeah, because he threw for one, and he did he catch one too in this game? No,
Uh,
no, he did
he-
catch one. He had four catches, one for a touchdown, one pass for a touchdown, and he ran for 52 yards as well.
yeah,
It's a pretty good game, but he doesn't do that every week though.
he's close. I last year I ran him in fantasy football because they labeled him a tight end slash quarterback. It was the first time I'd ever seen
Mm.
that moniker placed, and I played him at tight end, and he would get quarterback numbers some weeks. Some weeks he'd throw the ball, some weeks he would. He was
But
better
you
than the other
play in
tight
like
end I
one of
had.
those super flex multiple quarterback leagues.
True, true. But I would run him as a tight end because I knew he would get either run it rushes as a running back, catches as a wide receiver slash tight end, or passes at. But this year, fantasy football's made him strictly a tight end.
Oh,
They've got rid of the slash quarterback. So
I'm sure people complained. That's why.
I did because he became not valuable to draft anymore. So
People complained. That's all right.
speaking of complaining, I'm about to start complaining right now about these Giants.
Go for it.
All right,
Do you want me to give the rundown real fast? They played the who did they play? They played
the Raiders
the Raiders.
in
Uh,
Vegas.
they got down 27 to nothing quick, and finished ended up losing 30-6.
Yeah, yeah, but that's that. See, the score doesn't tell it all. First, let's talk about how I knew that something bad was going to happen. The Raiders have been absolute trash all year. Oh, they decided to fire their coach right before they play the Giants. I go, it's not a good sign for the Giants. It's not a good sign for the Giants. Then they go and they promote Antonio Pierce, who won the championship for the Giants. I was like, this is also not a good sign for the Giants. The fact that his first game as head coach gets to be on the against the team he won the championship for.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I'm cool because my team should be coming back. We getting our left tackle back. Andrew Thomas, probably one of the best left tackles in the game. We're getting our quarterback back. That's his where he fits in the pantheon. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. We're just saying we'll just say that he's our starting quarterback. This is what we're supposed to do. It was going to be him and Saquon have only played 22 games together, I believe, in their entire career, or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's absolutely ridiculous. It was going to be. If Saquon was going to be there, our starting left tackle was going to be there. We're getting our starting right tackle back, who he could sit out for a little bit, but whatever. We got everything back. This was supposed to be the game where we see the offense that we saw in the second half of the Arizona Cardinals game. They were That's what I thought was going to happen. Uh, Tiki or not Tiki. Saquon was coming off of a 128-yard game. I'm like, all right, we're gonna feed him the ball, let Danny come back and ease into the game. Oh boy. Uh, Danny comes back on a step or just a drop back. He tries to move out the pocket a little, and he's down with a knee injury. At the time, he gets up. He gets up. He brushes it off. It's nothing. He then goes under center. He takes 2 steps back, realizes that he has no ligaments in his knees, and he immediately goes to the ground for the sack, which now pisses me off because you knew you had no ligaments in your knee. Call a timeout, get out the game, and not give up a down on the play. Come on, a loss of a down just because you got no ligaments? That's not cool. But then they proceeded to beat the brakes off of us. We could get nothing because DeVito came in, who apparently, according to Dayball or of what I read today, he will probably be the starter from here on out. Saquon was still being Saquon. I think he had like 12 rushes for 90 something yards. He was absolutely a beast.
He
Um,
looked really fast.
yes.
He looked really fast when I was watching the highlights again today. He looked every play that he got positive yards on. He just looked fast as hell. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's
we were
good.
supposed to we were supposed to ride. That was supposed to be what we did. We were supposed to hand him the ball and ride him out the rest of the game. It's not. I'm upset that on the first drive of the game they went pass, 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 and did not give him the ball once. They went three and out. They went pass, 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 nothing. Oh, okay. The man just is doing everything you need, and this is what we get. This is what we get. We don't give him the ball. 12 rushes on the day, something like that. That is that what the stats was? I did not even look at the stats.
16
16.
rushes.
16 rushes. That's not enough. The man had 35 the day before, and I get usage and things like that. But that's your only weapon. He is absolutely your only weapon with your third string quarterback in the game. You got to do something. Now, next week, I know next week is we not talking about it, but next week's against the Cowboys. You can't do that. They're gonna just fill the box. He may not have 50 yards next week. It's gonna be rough. But I was absolutely pissed with the Giants. And I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. Everything set up for the Raiders to do well, and they did well against my team. And this is a lost season, and I'm sad.
Lost seasons are the worst. And so Tommy DeVito, University of Illinois, rookie, right?
Yep.
Did they draft him or is he like an undrafted free agent as well?
Probably drafted. I
Oh,
don't even
all
know.
right.
We have so many third string quarterbacks that never get to see the light of the day. Davis Webb. Like this is the first time I've seen a third string quarterback for the Giants play in the game. This is ridiculous. I'm so used to old number 10, Mr. Reliable, being back there, missing no games for his career except when they benched him. But besides that, for injury, missing no games, Mr. Reliable back there, to have Daniel Jones, who has missed time every season he's played.
So I just pulled up Tommy DeVito on
Tommy D.
Google, and his picture looks like he's a confused man on like a golf outing. Is like I borrowed my dad's clubs.
Is it the
I
one?
I
Is it the
don't.
Google photo from like with the
He's got
orange shirt?
he's got an orange shirt on, University of
Oh, blue
Illinois
background.
orange.
Looks
His
bad.
hair's mussed up, but his hair's mussed up and everything. It looks like he could be like Ray Romano's like nephew or something. But he
Mm-hmm.
also probably in the summer sells cars or washes tanks or something like that. Like
He definitely looks like he should have played golf and not played football.
yeah. But he looks like he's out there with his friends. I'm just here because it's a bachelor party.
And he
That's why
and he played for football at Syracuse and Illinois. He loves that orange.
he
He
loves that
loves that
orange.
orange.
He was probably hoping to be drafted by the Broncos,
Hmm.
filling in for Russ. But I guess playing for the Giants. I mean,
his
I mean,
he's from apparently New Jersey too, so it could be his favorite
oh
team.
god, it's
He is
his
obviously letting us down.
his
He's
lifelong
obviously
dream.
letting us down. Could you imagine that? If you watch that team, you love that team, you go out there and then you shit the bed like he's been doing.
But what's he gonna do? I feel bad for him because he is going to get creamed by Micah Parsons. He is going. They do the Giants have a fourth and a fifth string quarterback because
Oh no! Oh my
there's
God, we don't. We don't. I
there
think they
there
just.
could be a chance that the like you had said earlier, the Wildcat is going to be.
It should be a viable option. The
It,
Wildcat should
it might be
should
the
be a
only
vi.
option.
I listen. I think the offensive line should be better. The offensive line has something to prove from what happened in that game against the Cowboys before. So hopefully they can protect DeVito, even though I don't think Mike is going to allow that to happen. But hopefully we can they can protect them because they've got something to prove from the last game. It's just you can't let your quarterback get sacked 8, 9 times. It's ridiculous.
All
So
right, because this is our first episode, I think I can bring this up because otherwise it would be a continuous thing. Because both the Bears and the Giants have second-year head coaches, and
correct.
I don't know what the chatter in Yorktown is about Brian Daboll,
Hmm.
but
He's good to go. He's good to
he's good
stay.
to go
Good
because
to stay. It's good to stay. He's staying.
Eberflus would be run out of town on a rail, like the classic tie him up to a rail, tar and feather him, do all the old timey punishment shaming, draw and quarter him. I mean, to just get rid of Eberflus altogether. Uh,
Yeah, I don't see how you can get rid of the guy. No, well, Eberflus I do, but Dave Ball is just you can't. I know they say next man up. That's a fallacy. You can't win with guys that would not make your team.
no,
Like you can't. You can't. Like
no.
the Giants were pulling people off the couch literally. Where this is not a figurative speak. He was watching football on his couch, and they brought him in not just to come on the team and spell someone in case they needed something. No, he went straight from the couch to starting left guard to starting left tackle in the same game. That is this is the people that the Giants are putting out there to protect their quarterback. You can't do, and then when he can't protect the quarterback because he was just on the couch, and your quarterback gets either his neck messed up, which is what happened to uh um
Tyrod.
DJ first.
Oh,
No,
DJ.
Tyrod, I believe, is a punctured lung
Oh, okay.
again. So he he's out. So, but yeah, no, you can't Dabo can't be to blame for this. It's unfortunate what's been happening to the Giants. He had them playing above their caliber last year, and I think he has that ability to get that out of the players. It's just that he ain't got many players this season, so we got to give him another time, another
I
opportunity.
I really liked Dayball last year because he was dancing in the locker room and stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna like this guy even though he's the Giants head coach. Um, However, I will say this: I saw this, and I think this is just because I'm tapped into Chicago football talk more than the average person, um, and because I think I feel like on a national level he was a bit of a joke at the end. But Matt Nagy, former head coach for the Chicago Bears, whose brain was broken
After the double doink.
after the double doink, it's a classic picture. He's like,
What do I do now?
yeah, he was that for like 2 more years. I saw people call Dayball Fat Nagy.
Oh
Uh,
no! Don't do that. Don't disrespect that man.
so I don't know. I don't. I mean, it is what it is. But if you think he's safe, I'm sure he is. I don't know why
He
you would
said
fire him. I wouldn't fire him. And because him and
he was coach of the year last year.
yeah, and
Like
Joe Shane, they're old buddies. Yeah, like I get that. Like 2 years is not enough time to evaluate a head coach or in a situation, especially when and we've discussed this before. He came. They went into last year expecting to be bad
yep.
and ended up winning 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's a
So
help. And to me, that was a testament not only to what he was able to do. They also had a fairly lighter schedule than they did this year, but it was also a testament to the fact that Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones played more games together last year than they had in any season combined. So it was a testament to just what those two guys could do together, not
hmm
individuals, because they have not been good by themselves.
I think Saquon is a player that you can put on any team and he would
Any
excel.
team. Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah,
but I mean you got to give him the ball. And if you're not
that's
going
a
to give him the ball, then they're not going to give him the ball. And he's what's going to do. But yeah, they went in expecting to be bad, hoping to be in the quarterback race for Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or Will
anybody.
Levis, Anthony
Yeah.
Richardson, any one of those guys, right? And ended up not. Ended up getting, going to the playoffs and actually winning a game, beating Minnesota.
Hmm.
And then
Oops.
you go from that, and now like expectations are through the roof. They were people were talking on NFL Network about, oh, the Giants could be a dark horse to win the Super Bowl this year, and I would hear that, and I'd be like, the New York Giants. I mean, they have a better chance than the San Francisco Giants, yes, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I felt like last year was a bit of a lightning in a bottle. You got
Mhm.
things that you didn't expect to have happen, like DJ playing good. I mean, because I mean they had no intention of keeping him, but then they had to because he was good.
Yeah,
Now I bet they wish they would have franchised DJ, gave Saquon a deal because
I
they're
still
gonna.
think I still think they're going to give Saquon a deal because if you don't give Saquon a deal, you should have traded him at the deadline, or you're going to franchise him again because that just doesn't make sense. So
No,
either you traded him during before the season, not before the deadline came up, like what the Panthers did with CMC with Christian McCaffrey, or you resign him. That's really your only options. Like I don't see how they can go and franchise him again. And if they don't franchise him, they let him walk when they at least could have got a third rounder for him. At least a third rounder for him. So to me, they decided they like him, regardless if and I think what helps is the contract that Jonathan Taylor just recently got. I think Jonathan Taylor getting, I think, 13 million or 12, $13 million a year for 14 years is kind of the contract that they wanted to give Saquon. But Saquon wanted, according to what people are saying, kind of wanted a little bit more because I don't know Saquon, so I don't know if that what he wants is what he doesn't want. But that's just what they're saying. And I'm like, now that Jonathan Taylor was able to get that contract, Saquon can actually see what the market is for running backs and maybe more likely to sign a deal similar to that next year. That's just what I think because if they let him walk, then that was dumb. Then as far as I say, Joe needs to go if that's what his plan was, because that doesn't make sense to me.
yeah, that's definitely not future thinking. Yeah, yeah, I didn't consider the trade deadline because why would you keep him?
Yeah,
Other than other football's hard because it's not like baseball, right? Where you, every trade deadline, 100 players get traded,
it's
to get
becoming
players.
that though.
It's getting
The
there.
the NFL is getting to be a trade heavy, and you're right. A couple years ago, it was
It
definitely
never
not.
was, right? So
Mm-mm.
like last year was like the first trade deadline where it's like, man, like 10 people got traded. That never happens. And this year, like another 10 got traded over the course of those 2 weeks getting to the trade
Yep.
deadline. I, you know, but here's the thing though: if you trade Saquon, then you really have nothing.
But then you can start to actually rebuild.
Well,
You
you
still you
can't until the. So if you trade Saquon, your best bet is to get a third probably, and maybe
yes.
get like a third and a conditional fifth, or like a fifth round swap with it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If he walks, then he's a third round comp pick, assuming the Giants don't pick up more in free agency than Saquon in you know
Mm-hmm. Compensatory pick, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I mean that's like the 49ers trading for what Deron Payne or whatever his name is, right? Giving up a
Mm-hmm.
conditional third pick, and they have no intention of re-signing him. He's not going to stay with the 49ers. They can't afford it.
No,
They got way too many people.
yeah, no, they
But if
can't
he
afford it.
walks, they get a third round comp, right? And they're not going to pick up anybody in free agency. If anything, they're going to lose people in free agency. They're going to lose some sort of coach. They're going to lose a coach, and then they'll get a comp pick from the coach, or I mean that's how the 49ers roll. They they just build comp picks, and then they do okay enough with them, you know.
Yeah, no. That's just that's how what I think. I hope because I really want to see Saquon retire a Giant. I really do. I'm a fan
Yeah,
of his. Been a fan of his. Wouldn't want to see him in another team's uniform. But I also hope the best for him. Like I really hope he seems like a good person. So I want to see him do good, but I'd rather see him do good in a Giants uniform. I'd rather not see him do good in a Bills uniform because I'm telling you, if it becomes available, if he goes on hits the free agent market, there'll be some teams that might actually go for him, and that would make some teams really scary.
yeah. Who?
The
What?
Bills
The Bills?
makes the Bills become scary. I think if you sent him all the way to Seattle, Seattle's a tough team.
Seattle's got two young running backs though. They got
Correct.
Kenneth Walker to the third, and they just drafted Zach Charbonnet this last year. But Seattle's weird, right? Like they should be better, I think, and they got manhandled. I'm gonna say this right now by the best team in the NFL, the
That's one
Baltimore
thing that
Ravens.
that's one thing that you could say. If you said that, I wouldn't. We've had this conversation before. 2 weeks ago, San Francisco was my number one, hands down, number one
Yeah,
team in the league, and two losses back to back has changed that. Um,
yeah.
the Ravens are really good,
Ravens.
and I don't think they've played their best football yet.
Yeah, they're still. Lamar Jackson is, in my opinion, on track to get a second MVP.
Okay.
And I think the Ravens. I said this at the beginning of the year. Remember when we sat there for days doing like every week picking the winners, and I always had like, well, there's one team that'll probably not make it, and I figured it would be the Bengals this year. Uh,
Mhm.
and, I mean, they're still. I mean, it's still
That
early.
division's up
That
for
whole
grabs for
division's over
anyone.
500, and the Bengals are in last place. But I think the Ravens are the team that will go to the Super Bowl this year. It'll be the
They look
Ravens and the Eagles.
they haven't played their best football, but they've been one of the most consistent teams in the league. Bills, you can catch them slipping. We've seen Miami might be frauds now. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um, talk just thinking about the AFC, the Chiefs don't look strong. They should have been buyers and tried to find some wide receiver. They just brought Miko Hardman back. They should have definitely been buyers
You'd think, yeah.
somewhere. And they just weren't. So I don't know. Like you said, the Bengals are still out there, but the Ravens will handle the Bengals. So the Jags are a sleeper team, but they just don't have it. They don't have enough. They're a good team. They've record wise, they're a strong team, but they're not going to be able to beat the Ravens.
No, I mean, just looking at the AFC, I mean, the Dolphins are still number one in the AFC East. They're
Hmm.
6-3, but they haven't beat a team with a winning record. But that's always
Which you
kind of
need
like
to.
well, you
You need
eventually have to.
to.
But the thing
Yes.
about that to me is the teams that you beat, they have losing records because they lose, right? Like so, it's hard. And teams that have winning records because they win. Uh,
But
that
they lost badly to a team they're supposed to see in the playoffs, the Bills.
mm-hmm.
They lost to a team that if you had aspirations of making it to the Super Bowl, you would. They lost to the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are teams that you at least got to play them close. You
Yeah,
can't you got to play them close, and they have not played them close. They have when tested, they seem to fold. And I
I go ahead.
no, and I like that team. I like the coach.
I do too. I like Mike McDaniel's. Yeah, he's the right kind of weird. Like,
He's out kind of weird.
yes, I wish so badly he was the Bears coach. Um, just for the press conferences, and then of course, an NFL level offense, um,
Oh yeah.
offensive scheme. The Dolphins, though, it's hard for me. It's hard to give any credence to a win or a loss in Germany,
You
right?
so why not?
Because of the travel that's involved with it.
Both teams have to do it.
I understand that. I mean that, and that's a thing, right?
But
Like
it's not like the Jags who because they played back to back
back to
weeks
back, yeah.
were allowed to they could stay there. Both teams had to do the travel. So it's to me just a neutral site game.
It is a
And
neutral site game with a 16-hour flight though, or a 13-hour flight, right? It's like that time difference and change in travel to me just it makes them wonky. There's nothing that's going to be right about that ever, right? Like it just it doesn't remove the win or the loss from the standing, as obviously, but to like go, oh, they lost to Kansas City, right? Yeah, but they were also in Germany. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, it's like I said, it's just to me, it's like Kansas City had to do the same thing.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
had, and they don't have the weapons that Miami supposedly has over them.
Oh, Miami's Miami's stacked as far as like wide
Stacked.
receivers go. Yeah, I
And
think.
it's not like Kansas City boat raced them. It was a like there's no way Kansas City's defense isn't that great. There's no way that that should have happened. Their offense is Kelsey, and that's it. Period. Like
Well, in
they
the
sh-
AFC for points allowed, the number one team is the Ravens with 124 points allowed through 9 games. The second team through 9 games is Kansas City with 143 points. So
mhm,
they do an okay job on both sides, and they need their defense to be good because they're not scoring the
because they're
points on
not scoring.
offense,
Yeah.
right? Or not scoring as consistently as it like. I mean, the Dolphins have put up 285 points on offense this year.
I don't think the
Uh,
Giants have put up 100 yet.
oh, that's a good. They were under 100 last week.
And they only scored 6.
They're at 101.
Oh, yes. Only 280 points behind the
So
Dolphins.
the next closest bad offensive scoring team in the NFC is the Panthers at 140 points.
And they've got a rookie QB. Well, their QB is not third string though, so I guess that can.
But they're a mess of a team.
The Giants scored 30 points in one game. I'll just throw that out there too. If you
I
want to talk
know,
about
and they've only scored 71 in the other 8.
yeah,
That's less than 10 a game. That's terrible.
it's that's one thing, and I hate to say someone should be fired, but I don't see our offensive coordinator coming back next year.
But
He
isn't
could
like Dayball was an offensive coordinator though, wasn't he?
He was, and he's not given. He keeps saying that Mike Kafka is doing all the play calling. Kafka's doing the play calling. Kafka's doing the play calling. Well, if
Mm-hmm.
Kafka's doing the play calling, Kafka needs to be fired. And then either let Dayball take over the plays or bring in someone else. I'd prefer Dayball to take over the play calling responsibility, but
Yeah, I don't know what the right call is there.
neither do I.
It's hard. I yeah, I it's hard to see what any sort of like offensive vision would be with the offensive roster the Giants have.
Run the ball with Saquon Barkley, play action to one of the fastest guys in the league, Jalen Hyatt. And you've got solid guys on the outside. You've got Jalen Hyatt who still has to work on some things, definitely. You got Slayton on the other side. You've got Wandale Robinson who could be in the slot. And I forgot Darren Waller's injured, but you have a tight end in Darren Waller. They should be able to come up with some kind of play with that group of people.
You'd think, like, see, now here's the thing. You say that, and you're like, yeah, those are all NFL caliber players, right? There nobody on there is a replacement level player. They're all. I don't think you have a number one receiver, but I
No.
think you have a good collection of mid twos to threes, right?
Mhm.
And when that happens, guys are playing on a position that makes it tougher, and because they're just not what they're expected to be or what they would normally be. Darren Waller's a legitimate offensive
Weapon.
weapon who's at the tail end of his career, though, right? He's
He's
30,
been
wrong side of 30,
he's
right?
been injured for most of his career too,
Yeah,
and he's injured now.
and when healthy, you have a decent offensive line, or at least a decent left side of an offensive line, which is
Hmm.
of all the
Which is the
sides you
side
have
you
to want
need.
for a passing game. You have a top 3 running back in the NFL in Saquon, and he made he look so fast in that game on Sunday. Like he looked unfairly fast. So you'd think that yes,
To come up with
you can put
something,
together something,
some
but
form of pattern.
they're not right.
They're,
It's the
exactly.
exact same thing on the Bears side of
That's
things.
true.
The Bears have
A good group of running backs.
a good running back room, right? With Khalil Herbert, who comes back off IR this week. You have
But even
Roshan
without
Johnson.
Khalil Herbert, Roshan, Devontae
Yeah,
oh,
Deontay
Freeman Foreman,
Foreman played
Deontay Foreman.
amazing. You got Ebner and like just
Yeah, Abdul
guys,
was the yeah.
dudes that the offensive line, the Bears' offensive line was very good at running the ball last year. They're very good at running the ball again
Yep.
this year, right? An offensive line, when you hear them talk, they're like, "We love to run the ball," right? Because they love that. It's a different kind of blocking, right?
Hmm.
Um,
You could be a mauler.
you can be a mauler. Then the Bears have offensive weapons. They have DJ Moore, who is a legitimate number one. He's
Legit
he's
number one.
he's not Jamar Chase, right? But
No.
he's in that one realm, right?
If you're if you're throwing top 10 wide receivers in there, he's definitely a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah,
He
I
may
think
not be
so.
top five, but he's in the top 10.
He's there, yeah.
Definitely.
And then you have the Chase Claypool experiment is
Didn't
come and
work.
gone, and
But I like Darnell Mooney.
Darnell
Or
Mooney is a good
I
he's a
like
good
him, and it
slot.
seems like Bajan likes him a lot.
Yeah. They got the rookie Tyler Scott, who's a burner out of Cincinnati. He's like one of those guys that runs under the ball, so you have to get it out there and get there. But that's more of a college game than it is an NFL thing. It's hard to
Hmm.
do the same thing.
That's Jalen, right? Just Jalen, where Jalen's
Got,
at.
got, got
Yeah.
to learn how to get separation and get open,
Yep.
first move and whatnot, right? They have some receivers. They have Cole
Cole
Kmet, who
Kmet,
who has been a consistently
a safety
good
blanket.
offensive weapon.
Not
He's got
fast.
he catches the ball. He
Good
has
hands. Good
good
hands.
hands. He's not the best blocker, but that doesn't matter, right? That's fine
Nope.
because
You
they
got other
have
guys do
they
that.
have other block. They have like 15 tight ends on the team. You would think that you could come up with an offensive scheme that
And your
utilizes.
quarterback. Well,
You have
when
Justin
you have
Fields,
Fields, when you have Fields,
who I don't care what anyone says is top three gifted athletic freaks that plays the quarterback position,
hmm
right? He is a
arm strength, speed.
he's arm strength. He's incredibly accurate at the deep ball. I think he's like ranked like third or fifth with deep ball accuracy. No picks, touchdowns, yards are all there, right? He's not good at the short intermediate game. It's fine because they always have him throwing these weird screen passes. Nothing's ever a quick read. Nothing's ever a slant. Everything's a weird progression or a weird under center, drop back 7 steps, and then screen. I don't understand. Everything is always slow happening. But why can't they come up with an offensive scheme that fits this personnel in a way to which which can work? And I know what's going to happen if they get rid of the man. He is going to be a superstar wherever he goes, because somebody's going to say, "Oh, you're really fast. Oh, you
They'll find a
hard to,
place to use him.
hard to tackle. Oh, you have a rocket for an arm. Oh, you can we'll figure out how to make this work. We'll figure out a scheme, as opposed to taking offensive coordinator Luke Getzey, who was the quarterback coach for the Green Bay Packers, who happened to work with Aaron Rodgers for 4 years, and who has a system in his brain that works for Aaron Rodgers. And
He's not
Aaron
Aaron
Rodgers is only
Rodgers.
one man. There's only one Aaron Rodgers. And you might find people that can emulate those skills, but you're not going to get the skill emulation at the level that you need for Aaron Rodgers to do it. It's just like when the Bears had Mike Martz as their offensive coordinator, who was the offensive coordinator for The Greatest Show
The
on
greatest
Turf,
show on turf.
and tried to replicate The Greatest Show on Turf with the Bears. He is the man responsible for the trading of the tight end to the Panthers, whose name is escaping me.
Olsen,
Greg
Greg
Olson,
Olsen.
who is going to be a Hall of Fame tight end,
He will be.
traded him after because there's just no way we can use this man. Much like Mike Singletary saying can't win with him about who Vernon, right?
Yep.
Vernon Davis, right? Like I don't understand it. So that's just what you get people that can't figure out how to make a scheme. That's
Yep.
why Mike McDaniel's is so good.
Yeah.
He knows what he has. He's like, I need fast guys. I need this, and Tua, you just need to be accurate. And he is, and they're good. Uh,
Harbaugh in Baltimore with Lamar. They had a different offensive coordinator, and even with the new offensive coordinator they have, when they got rid of the other guy, they still making it work. That last year, I think they had 3 or 4 different running backs at the position. Like they just make it work with whatever pieces that they have available to them. Along with we went the whole conversation, and I was talking about him, but Mike Tomlin.
yeah, yeah,
Whatever they have, he has works. Just doesn't make a difference what it is.
always works. Mike Tomlin, man, he's a really good coach.
The organization, we had a conversation before. The organization, I saw that the I think the Oakland Raiders are on their 27th head coach.
Yeah,
They had three. That doesn't even make sense. The Pittsburgh Steelers have had three head coaches in there. It
in
doesn't
their
make sense.
existence.
It doesn't make sense. At some point, you have to make the wrong moves. Like you just can't make the right moves every single time. But it appears that they make the right moves every single
They
time.
did. They
But
have.
I guess, and to average things out, you've got a team like the Browns who constantly make the worst moves.
Yes.
So I guess on the other end of the spectrum would have to be a team that always makes the right moves. So that would be
Oh,
the
like
duality.
to balance out the averages, the yin and the yang.
Yep,
Yeah,
the
you're right.
duality.
The Steelers tend to make the right moves to remain competitive year in and year out.
That's all you
They
want as
haven't
a
won.
fan.
They haven't won a yeah, exactly. They haven't won a Super Bowl in a minute, but they've won several, right? Like as a
Yep.
franchise, what
Yes. In
six,
different
seven,
in
like
different times,
every decade. Yep.
each one of those coaches has won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think they didn't win one in the '80s, right? But they won one in the '90s. They won. Oh, maybe
They
not the
did
'90s.
win in the
Maybe
90s. They won two in the 2000s
the
when
2000s. Yeah.
with Cowher, and then as soon as Cowher left, Mike Tomlin came in and
Yeah.
won another one. But yeah,
Yeah.
they went to the Super Bowl in the 90s. That was Neil O'Donnell's year. I
Oh,
think they
they
went
sure
against
did, didn't they?
I think they went against, was it the Packers? Was that Favre's championship?
Yeah, probably.
I'm trying to think of who would have
I
won
blocked it
that.
on my memory, so it's probably one of the two Packers ones in the last 30 years. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They're just always good, and we've done this exercise before, where it's like, let's look up the Steelers' record for their entirety of existence, and they've only had like four losing seasons in like 60 years. Like, how is that even possible?
It's not. It's not.
No.
It's not. Some teams go through decades of not being bad.
Yeah.
Decade. Like the 70s for the Giants was absolutely horrible. Like like an entire decade of trash. Like and probably four coaches in that decade. You couldn't make one good one. Like that's the thing that I'm really impressed more about the coaches thing than anything, because the Giants have gone through five coaches in the last 10 years. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you got to be able to hit on one of them.
Yeah. I mean, and the same thing. The, the Bears are they're known for Ditka, right? But Ditka wasn't a very good head coach, I don't think.
Mm.
But I was also a young child at the time. But look back at it, he probably wasn't the best head coach. He was more of a personality than he was a head coach, right? And then they also had Dave Wanstead in there afterwards.
Mm.
They've had Dick Duran. They've had uh, oh, other guys. I can't even think of who they are. Like
Just the
John
revolving door
Fox,
of
Mark
people.
Trestman. Just
Not oh, Trustman
oh,
wasn't good.
Trestman was terrible. He was a weird guy, but not the right kind of weird. Not the Mike McDaniel's weird.
Not to make
He
McDaniels
was the
right.
guy like, were you just eating out of the garbage? Weird. Like that's what he was. It's like, what are you
No,
doing over
no.
there? It's like, it's yogurt, man. Put it down. Like that's what that reminds me of. That's what he is. Like I don't. He's just every time. Oh, and there's because we live in an era. I mean, we're doing a flipping podcast about the NFL. Everybody's got NFL takes, right? And like Mark Trestman is employed by like an NFL hot take company.
Machine.
Yeah, I don't want to say who they are because I had to block them on Twitter because they're obnoxious. And because Mark Trestman works for them. Like if you go to their website, it's like, oh, we're founded by former players and coaches, and like one of them's Mark Trestman. I was like, oh no, you instantly lose credibility there. You have to lose credibility. That's like hiring the worst of anything to be your representative at that thing, right? You lose credibility instantly.
I don't think we're gonna get Mark Cressman on as as an interview now, sir.
Oh well, I'll tell you what. I'll be happy to tell it to him in an interview. He was one of the worst things that ever happened to the Bears, and I've lived through a lot of Bears things that are bad, but he was absolutely terrible. Um, had one interesting 15 game stretch at the beginning where their offense was okay, and then they lost to the Packers in week 17 to not go to the playoffs, and the Packers went to the playoffs instead.
You just-
Yep. Uh, But I mean, they had Lovie Smith in there, right? So they fired Lovie Smith after a 10-6 win, 10-6
Rough,
season,
tough one. Yeah.
which is tough to do. However, here's the funny thing about Lovie Smith. He was like a lame duck head coach for like 5 straight seasons. Like because the Bears traditionally don't won't fire somebody when they owe them money, right? Like, well, we'll run out this contract, and then they would make the playoffs, right? And you're like, oh, okay, so well, we have to extend him now, so they give him a 4-year deal, and then they would be bad. And then like, okay, well, we can't fire him because he's got 3 years left of his contract. And then he get down to the last year and he'd be good again. And they're like, okay, but because of that, they could never get offensive coordinators. They ran Mike Tice out there as an offensive coordinator for two
Oh,
straight years. Like that guy. I don't even know if he's in the NFL anymore. Ever since, right? He had no business being off. He was an offensive line coach, which is fine. He can be an offensive coordinator, but
he coached the Vikings. Wasn't he head coach of the Vikings at one point in time?
possibly. But I want to say he was part of Detroit losing 16 games. If I'm not wrong, but I could be
Yeah, he,
wrong.
he coached the Minnesota Vikings from 2001 to 2005.
Okay. When I Google it, I get how tall is Mike Tice. It says 6'7". I mean, good for him. That's a tall dude. He's a formidable man on the sidelines. He had no business being an offensive coordinator, but he was.
Definitely did not.
Yeah, it is what it is. You know, shit. Harlan, we went into this and we were like, well, we're going to talk a little bit about the Bears, a little bit about the Giants, then we're going to go across the board with everything. And we're
We
approaching.
did. We kind of did.
We're approaching a bit of approaching an hour. Hold on. Well, we have to do this then. We should do this. We need to do this to make ourselves somewhat, I don't know, legitimate. Because when we can look back on it,
Respectables.
we can look back at it next week and say, look, we were right.
Uh-huh.
Let's go down all the games, pick winners. They even put the Lions here because
Uh,
gambling is legal in the world, except for
except
Wisconsin
for the
and
two
Texas.
states that were
Yeah,
in.
everywhere else you can gamble. What's funny is the automatic playing thing from ESPN is their talking heads and AJ Hawk. I don't know if that man's ever spoken on the Pat McAfee show. Do you ever see clips of him where it's
Mm.
like it's Pat McAfee and AJ Hawk, and AJ Hawk just sits there for hours. I don't think the man says a word. He just sits there. He's right half the screen and he just nods. All right. So Thursday
Oh.
in Chicago, prime time on Prime.
Whew,
We have
they knew exactly what we needed.
we have the 1-7 Carolina Panthers coming into Chicago for the 2-7 Bears, who may or may not have Justin Fields under center.
Ooh.
But I doubt he will. Man, it's coming back on a short week. Man had dislocated his thumb, but he tried to pop it back in and play that same game. So kudos to that.
Kudos. Toughness.
The Bears are favored by 4 points.
I got 3.5, so it's got that.
Who we got? Bears or Panthers?
Oh man, the Panthers have been absolutely bad. I don't
Panthers
still.
are without Brian Burns as well. Their number one
Mm,
pass rusher
uh-huh.
because he has concussion.
Listen, I don't care who's back there. I gotta say, because of the showing that the Bears did against the Saints, they actually looked very good on both sides of the ball. I've got to give it to the Chicago Bears. The Carolina Panthers won a game and kicked field goals. I think 5 field goals in that game against the Houston Texans. So that's not very. That's not. It doesn't sell me. I'm going Bears. With the three, I'll take the 3.5. I would go with the Bears. I think they win by. Oh
Oh,
man, that's tough.
Bears cover? I think the Bears
That's
cover.
tough. Yeah, I'm gonna say Bears cover.
All right. So I think the Bears win. I do not think they turn over the ball like they did last week. And even if they do, I don't think the Panthers can move the ball
You
in
cannot.
any way whatsoever, unless they decide to attack the middle of the field, which is the predominant portion of the football field. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
When dealing with area, most of it is in the middle of the field.
In the middle, right in front of the person throwing the ball. No, I think the Bears will win that. The Bears have to win that game. Here's the thing: if the Bears lose that game, they have the mini bye coming up. If the Bears lose that, I believe that Matt Eberflus is fired on Friday.
Ooh. Ooh.
The Bears have never fired anybody in midseason. I think this will be the game because they don't have a bye until week 13. They have a late bye. So if the Bears lose, Eberflus is fired. If the Bears win, it starts a 7-game win streak, and the Bears get to 9-7.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
All right,
Hey.
Sunday morning we go to Frankfurt, Germany. The
Mm-hmm.
4-5 Colts take on the 2-7 Patriots. Indianapolis is a 2-point underdog. Or
I
no,
got
two
them
point
as
favorite. Two
favorites.
point
They're
favorite.
2 point
2 point
favorites.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Oh,
this is Gardner Minshew's Colts.
this is tough. This is tough because neither team is very good.
I
Um,
think the Colts are okay.
the Colts have been playing. Jonathan Taylor makes them better. He
Yes.
definitely makes them better.
They
I
got some good young receivers. I like the Colts team.
I'm gonna give you tell you what. I think I'm gonna pick the New England Patriots in this game because Mac Jones has played bad, but he's played okay sometimes. I think this is gonna be an okay game for him. I'm going Patriots.
I'm going to have to go Colts just because I don't trust Mac Jones to
I don't
win the
trust them
game.
either, but this time I think he could beat them.
The Patriots are a black hole of talent on offense. They have fewer weapons than the Giants, if that's even possible
It's
offensively.
possible. Yeah.
I just don't see how the Patriots will put up, you know, 17 against the Colts. I think the Colts will probably win like 21-14 or 21-13. It's not going to be a fun game, but it's also a travel game. They both have to go to Frankfurt, Germany. You can't take any win or loss, so Patriots will win. Next game we have the Texans going to Cincinnati. The 4-4 Texans with C.J. Stroud coming off of 540 something yards passing and
470, most for a
five
rookie.
touchdowns. What an insane story. Versus the 5-3 Bengals, who are on a 5-game win streak, who are just coming off beating the Bills.
But Jamar Chase may not play. I saw
Jamar Chase may
something.
not
Jamar
play,
Chase may not play.
but
But
the
I'm still
Bengals
going Bengals. I'm still going Bengals. It doesn't
Bengals are
change.
7-point favorites.
That's tough.
I don't think the Bengals cover.
The
And
7 points, I don't think they cover, but I do think they win the game. I don't think they cover. I think Houston, if you want to take the money line, I'm taking Houston then because 7 is going to be tough. Houston has got them playing well. I mean, not Houston. The coach, former dude who's supposed to be defensive coordinator for. Why can't I think of his name?
D'Amico Ryans.
D'Amico Ryans. D'Amico Ryans got them boys playing. They're
I
playing.
I think the Texans made every right move in the offseason for their
Correct.
situations they could have made. I think C.J. Stroud was 100% the right pick for them at least. Probably would have been
Hmm.
the right pick for the Panthers and probably who the Panthers wanted. I still think Bryce Young will be a good quarterback one day. But C.J. Stroud is the guy that just it clicks for him. It didn't take much adjustment. It doesn't happen every year, but sometimes a quarterback comes in and it just clicks.
And they
Uh,
had an offensive line that can protect them. They have a legit offensive line with good guys on it.
they
So it
got a
makes it a little bit easier for them.
they have good collection of receivers. No true number ones, but some twos and threes.
Nico's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also
They
think
could
drafting Will Anderson Jr., who has been a bit of a beast. I think Will Anderson Jr. is going to be chasing uh, Joe Burrow around on Sunday, and I think the Texans win
they got single outright?
outright win.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
After that, we get the Saints at the the Josh Dobbs led Vikings. The 5-4 Saints versus the 5-4 Vikings. The Vikings, I think, were 1-3 at one point. New Orleans are 2.5 point dogs on the road, and that's just because of Josh Dobbs. But Josh Dobbs got him a victory last week.
I am rooting for Josh Dobbs. I'm
Mm-hmm.
picking Josh Dobbs. I'm picking Josh Dobbs easily. Yeah. They don't have they're missing a lot. They're missing a lot because they don't have Kirk. They also don't have Jefferson.
Yep.
But I'm still picking them. I'm still picking the Vikings.
Picking the Vikings. I'm going to pick the Vikings as well because I don't think the Saints are good. After that, we have the Packers going to Pittsburgh to see the 3-5 Packers at the 5-3 Steelers.
I don't think you can pick the Packers. I don't think I
There's
think
no
you
way. There's no way you can pick the Packers. I mean, out of principle and morals, I cannot pick the Packers. But I mean, just logically, I can't pick the Packers in this one.
They don't have Micah. Micah Fitzpatrick is out.
Okay.
Um, they still got TJ Watt, I believe. He may not be. I don't think he's injured. I just don't know. I don't know how the Steelers do it. I don't know what magic they use because everything tells me
Yep.
that they're not good. Everything tells me they're not good. But I'm picking the Steelers.
I'm there with you. I'm taking the Steelers, and I'm giving up the points. There's 3 points. I do not think the Packers can score. I don't think they're good offensively. I don't.
They beat the brakes
They
off the
are.
Rams.
What's that?
They beat the brakes off the Rams.
Well, shoot, beating the brakes off the Rams. But did they really beat the brakes off the Rams? Now I'm saying maybe go back because I
They
don't think
scored
they.
3 points. The Rams looked horrible.
The Packers put up 20. That's all they put up was 20. 20 to 3. Yes, they beat the
So,
brakes off the Rams because the Rams were running uh, with like Mark Rippon out there. Who were they? Like I can't remember who it was. Like it was just somebody that is. The Rams are signing Carson Wentz,
yes, I saw that.
right?
I
So
saw that
that's
today.
where the Rams are at. The Rams are without Stafford. They have a rookie quarterback. They won't run him out there. They ran out Mark Rippon's cousin or whatever, illegitimate son, and now they've signed Carson Wentz off the trash heap. Steelers and the points. Steelers will get outgained on offense, like 280 yards to 240 yards, but they'll still win by two
Get two
touchdowns.
takeaways. Get two
Yeah, I don't know how it's
takeaways.
going to happen. It'll be a bunch of field goals, but they'll win. Then we have the Will Levis and his mayonnaise coffee led 3-5 Titans. Do you know about that about Will Levis? He puts
I've
mayonnaise
heard.
in his
I heard.
coffee
I heard that.
and
Yeah.
he eats bananas with the peel on. Versus the Baker Mayfield Bacon Buccaneers at 3-5 in Tampa Bay. Uh, Tampa Bay is 1.5 point favorites.
I'm only giving it Tampa Bay because they're at home. If this is neutral site, I'll probably pick the Titans. I'm gonna give the Buccaneers the just it for being at home.
They tie 18 to 18. They weird like 25 to 25, like a weird number to get to. They'll tie
The
because
tie.
because Vrabel's gonna go for two when they only need the extra point to win, and
Oh,
they'll
okay.
tie. Then we have the 49ers invading Jacksonville. 49ers coming off the
Two
bye,
losses. Mm-hmm.
two losses and then the bye. Brock Purdy and company go to Jacksonville, the 6-2 Jacksonville Jaguars, and the
We're the
49ers are 3 point favorites.
3 point favorites. That's going to be good, but I am never rooting, not rooting for. I'm never counting on Trevor Lawrence ever again. Uh, this this is a fantasy football thing. So 49ers.
See, you're judging his value off of fantasy.
No, I'm judging his value off of I have been anti Trevor Lawrence from the beginning.
oh,
Last year, towards the end, he had a good season. And I said, you know what? Maybe he's proven me wrong. Maybe Trevor Lawrence is growing and he's becoming a better quarterback. And then he sucks this year. I pick him on my fantasy
he
football
doesn't
team.
suck. He's good. He is a fundamentally sound, beautiful horseman. Uh, he looks like a beautiful horse. Uh, I cannot take the 49ers because they are traveling cross country. It's a cross country travel. Uh, like
that offense travels. That offense travels. They
yeah,
run. They run the
but
ball a lot.
they travel on the west half of the United
I
States.
mean, I think that offense can win anywhere. Me personally, if Brock Purdy's not throwing interceptions.
I don't think Brock Purdy. So I'm not a Brock Purdy truther, but I am on the yeah he's pretty good bandwagon. I think he's good. I think he's all right. Had a couple games. The man wasn't going to win every game he ever played,
Of course not.
so it's fine. I still think the Jags win, but it's close. I think the Jags win by like one, like
Mm.
like 21-20 or. I bet you it's like a over unders 45. I bet you they score like a combined 60, like 33-32 Jags.
I could see San Francisco scoring 30. I don't know. Jacksonville has weapons. That's another team that has weapons. and I don't know why they don't score more. And then I blame, you know who I blame for that. I blame Trevor Lawrence for them not scoring many more
Yeah,
much more
probably.
points.
All right. And then we have the Browns, the 5-3 Cleveland Browns, going to visit the 7-2 Ravens. Ravens are a 6-point favorite.
They'll win by 20.
I don't know. I bet you this
Oh,
game,
wait, sorry. Miles Garrett is playing like a man possessed.
because he is a man possessed. He's got several demons living inside of him, like one in each arm.
Every week I hear someone saying, "Is Miles Garrett an MVP candidate?" Like they're
Yes,
single-handedly
he
winning
should
games
be. He
because of
should.
him.
The man leaped over the offensive line like it was. He didn't like crawl over them. He didn't like tush push his way. He cleared an offensive line to block a field goal attempt or an extra point attempt, whatever it was. He is amazing. The Browns' offense is terrible. Uh,
Last week, I think Cooper had over 150 yards in a touchdown. Deshaun
well, did
actually
you see
had some
Amari
decent.
Cooper's touchdown though? It
No.
was like tipped by like 7 different people and
Oh,
fell
I
into
did
his
see
hands,
it. I
right?
did
So
see it. Wasn't the
like
best pass. Wasn't.
yeah, Amari Cooper is a waste of talent. I do not like Deshaun Watson.
I know.
I can't cheer for the man anymore. I think Lamar Jackson is the MVP. So I think they go to 8-2. I don't know if they win by 6 because
I got him winning by
That
20.
that
But
Browns
no, I said that before. I thought before. Yeah, they
the
win
Browns
by 6.
defense
They
is
don't win by 20. It is really
Browns
good.
defense is really good.
Hmm.
All right, then we got the 4-5. Don't know how to use their offensive weapons talent. Falcons versus the 1-8 Cardinals. They're on the road in Arizona. The Falcons are only a 1-point favorite. I
Well,
do believe Kyler Murray is back for this game.
is he?
Yes.
Then he can't. They can't be a 1 point favorite with Kyler Murray back.
Kyler
Like,
Murray is out off of IR and is expected to be back, I think. Let me double check.
because they're
Is
in
Kyler
Arizona.
Murray the starter this week? The answer is
Maybe.
Kyler Murray. Cardinals activate QB who's slated to start versus Falcon if the week goes well.
Oh, then
Oh,
I just don't.
ready for the tired joke?
Uh,
Isn't there a new Call of Duty coming out this week?
it comes out Friday. It comes out Friday. Yes.
Kyler
Ooh.
loves his Call of Duty.
Ooh, Kyler loves his
I
Call of
still think
Duty.
that's like the lame. It's a funny meme, but he's a professional. I
Well, I'll tell you what. If you pre-released it, the campaign was available this week, so he could have gone through the campaign this
probably
week,
has.
and that's it.
Yep.
And that's fine.
What do you
Oh
think? What do you got?
man, the Arizona Cardinals team plays tough. Atlanta Falcons, I just don't know what they are. Is it Heineke's now their quarterback now?
Heineke is
They
their quarterback.
they stopped
Yes,
Ritter. They got rid of Ritter.
which
I
is a good
don't know.
move.
I don't know what Atlanta is, and I don't think they do either. Like you said, they've got weapons and don't
They
know how to use
have
them.
Bijan Robinson,
Kyle
Drake London,
Pitts and Kyle
Kyle Pitts.
Pitts.
Those are 3 first-round offensive weapons drafted that
Yep.
somehow none of them get the ball in any capacity in their offensive arsenal. And in fact, who's their head coach? Arthur, not
Oh
Blank. Arthur Blank's the
no,
owner, right?
Smith isn't it? Smith is Arthur.
Arthur Curry's Aquaman.
Yes, it is.
We'll just call him Bob Arthur. Uh, B. Arthur, their head coach, said today something to the effect of
Yep, Arthur Smith.
Bijan Robinson is more dangerous and effective away from the ball, or something like that.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, he's
That does not
like
make sense. That's not how football works. That's
no.
not how football works. The
Said,
the,
like
the
I'm
most dangerous
paraphrasing.
man is the man with the ball in his hand.
Yes, and you have a guy who made his career off of being a dynamic playmaker from
With
out
the
of the
ball in his hand.
backfield, getting handoff, getting pitches, getting short passes.
However you can get him the ball.
You get him the ball, he's hard to tackle, and he's very good at running. So that's why I think the Cardinals will win.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Atlanta. I'm gonna go Atlanta this time.
Kyler Murray
Oh, Kyler Murray
will
coming back.
get them
But
a
yeah,
victory.
who is he throwing the ball to? They have is Connor still the starting running back?
Hollywood Hollywood
Brown from
Brown. Yeah,
yeah. Now I'm gonna go Atlanta.
they got a rookie receiver. Can't remember his name. Hollywood Brown. I don't know who's in the backfield.
James Conner was in the backfield. I don't know if he's
He's
still
hurt
there.
though.
That's what I thought.
Um, I still think Kyler Murray figures out a way to win. Uh, he's
I don't think.
he's got to prove himself. Plus, he needs to get those Cardinals wins so the Panthers can go back to the first pick in the draft and the Bears can get it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. If the Bears lose to the Panthers, and the Cardinals beat Atlanta, the Giants are now in the running for number one.
The Giants want that number one pick.
I'm just saying.
They need it. They need it
They may
bad.
not have a choice. They may not have a choice. Like I don't think we're good enough to get another win out with the team that we currently have. With
Not with Danny
Tommy
DeVito.
DeVito, that's what I'm saying. So we need to yeah, I'm definitely rooting for now. I'm rooting for the Cardinals. Now that I said that, I'm rooting for the Cardinals.
Yeah, you want to get that Caleb Williams. Man,
Maybe,
as much as
maybe he's a jerk.
as much as it pains me to say that, him being quarterback in New York would be one of the greatest things ever. I don't know if like good for the
I
Giants.
don't think it would be. He wants
Man,
to own a part of the team he gets drafted to. If that wasn't,
he just talks. He talks. He like this dude. I make enough off of nil money. I don't have to come out. Okay, there's a difference between 2 million and 20 million, dude. Like maybe if you don't get, I don't know. Whatever. We got the Lions 6-2 going into Los Angeles to face the 4-4 Chargers. The Herberts
and the
versus
Lions
the
are favored.
Goffs. The Lions are
Going
favored.
Goff, I'm going Lions.
Really?
I don't know why, but yeah, they
I do like the Lions team. Like of all the NFC
NFC
North rivalry sorts of teams, the Lions are always the ones that never
stink.
mattered. So it's like, oh, okay, now they're good for them. Like I always like Barry Sanders, always like Megatron. Those guys are not on the team anymore. Always like Matt Stafford. He's not on the team anymore either. But this Lions team is interesting.
Yeah,
Hutchinson is good. I like Laporta at the tight end. I like Jameer
I'm
Gibbs.
on
I like
St. Brown.
Monty. Yeah. Oh, Sun God is great. I love him. They actually have a lot of really good players, and I like
Yeah,
their coach too, Dan Campbell.
yeah.
He's like a football coach. Like he's like there's guys that we see him talk like, oh, he's a football coach. That's what I want the Bears to have. Either the guy that sounds like a Robert Sala or uh, what's his name? The Lions. I just said his name. I can't remember what it is.
Dan Campbell,
Dan Campbell, right? Like those are guys that are like I want one of those guys, or I want the really weird Mike McDaniel's.
Mark Davis.
I don't want Eberflus, who always sounds like he's apologizing because he ran over the trash cans or something. I don't know what his deal is. He never just sounds like he has conviction or certainty about anything. It's like, oh, did you take out the garbage, Flus? Ah, I think I heard the truck go by, and see that's the thing. Once you hear the truck, like, shut up, man. I'm taking the Lions on the road.
Lions as well.
All right, we got the Giants. We're running a little long on time. We got the Giants and the Cowboys. The 2-7 Giants invade Dallas. And invade's the right word, I think. It's like a bees, kind of like a pest, like a somebody spray. Here come the Cowboys, who
I
Dak Prescott.
because this is a format that is recorded out there in the world.
You have to
I
say
will never say that the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants. I picked the Giants to win this game.
that's fair. I can't. Next we
What?
have. There's just no physical way. The only way the Giants win is
If a
there's
meteor hits their side of the field,
Bane. Bane invades. There's a party boat scandal involving the entire Cowboys offense from Saturday night.
and defense, because the defense might get some few pick sixes.
That's
So
true.
the whole team might have to go.
Yeah, Jerry Jones pulls like a Mr. Burns and decides like
Fires everybody.
fires everybody and then brings in a bunch of 22 ringers of NFL greats like that Tostitos commercial. We got Dan Marino out there. I just don't see how the Cowboys lose that game. They're
There's a
16 and
way.
a half point favorites.
There's a way.
That's
It could happen.
they're 3 score favorites. They've even taken into the fact of the 2-point conversion. The Giants, the Cowboys to cover have to score three more times than the Giants do.
It's
All
a
right,
different way.
we got the Washington Commies, who I found out their I was googling for names for this podcast. I found out that their mascot is named Sergeant Tutty,
Oh no.
and it's like a pig or a dog or something, and people hate it. So the Washington Commanders at 4-5, after trading away
The defense?
their defense,
The
found a way to
defensive
win
line?
last week. Go to
Um,
Seattle, and Seattle's looking to bounce back after getting embarrassed by the Ravens.
yep.
Seahawks are 5-3. They're also 6.5 point favorites.
I'm going Seattle.
Yeah, I think Geno Smith makes right on that. I also think that the Seahawks have my favorite defensive rookie from this last year, after Will Anderson Jr. and Devin Witherspoon. I think he's going to have a big game. He's gonna bully Sam Howell, and then
It's
find.
not difficult. He gets sacked a lot.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Sunday evening, for their second consecutive primetime game, we have the Jets going to visit the fresh off the heels of the drubbing of the New York Giants Raiders. We fired our coach. We won a game. We're feeling good. Jets versus Raiders. Neither team has a quarterback. One team has a defense. The
A
other team has
really
Josh
good
Jacobs.
defense.
Yeah, and Devontae Adams.
Yeah. But they've
The
got
Jets.
Sauce Gardner who it locks up pretty much anybody he's on.
Yeah. Aiden O'Connell, the best Purdue quarterback since Drew Brees. Uh, uh, if there's, I don't know if there's any other quarterbacks since Drew Brees that went to Purdue. Oh, you know what? What's his name from the Bears went to Purdue? What was his name? Nick Beard. Got traded.
Orton?
Yeah,
Is
Kyle
it
Orton.
Kyle?
Yeah, got traded to the. I'm getting old. I can't remember names. Jets and Raiders. Who we got?
I'm
Jets are
going
one and a
Jets.
half point favorites.
I'm actually going to go Jets on this. I think the Jets have more than what the Giants do, and they've got a better a defensive back. So I'm going with that. I don't. What's name is really not good. Or Wilson is really not good.
No, he's not.
But the Raiders are the Raiders good, and that's what that's going to prove. If the Raiders do win, then we know Josh McDaniels ruined that team because they were
Oh,
good before he got there.
we don't
They
need to win
stunk
to
while
tell
he was
tell
there.
to determine that. Josh McDaniels is the Titanic equivalent of Titanic captains. He is the worst at cap. He's the worst possible captain for the Titanic. He's a Titanic of
Oh,
Titanic
I'm
captains. Yes, he will sink a ship faster than anyone can sink a ship, even a ship that's destined to sink. Uh, he's terrible. Um, so the Jets offense is not good though either.
Why is this us? I'm going to say that whoever picked the games pick the worst primetime games they have this week.
They could have flexed this one.
They should have
They,
flexed this one.
they should have flexed Thursday. They should have flexed this one. I'm going to take the Raiders only because they're at home, and I think Max Crosby is the difference.
Okay,
That guy's crazy.
he's
I
color.
think what's going to happen is going to be tied, and then the Jets, instead of going to overtime, will try some crazy lateral from across the field, and the Raiders will intercept it and run in for the touchdown for the second year in a row. And then finally, we got the other game that should have been flexed Monday night. The Broncos go to the
Nope.
Bills.
Yep. Sorry, in New York, Buffalo Bills have to beat the Broncos. I just
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, I don't see any reason. Even though the last time the Denver Broncos played, they did get a win.
Yeah,
They
but that
beat the
was like,
Kansas City Chiefs 2 weeks ago.
oh, that's right. But they were at home,
Mm-hmm.
and the
They
sun
Kansas really
shines
on the
on a
dog's
dog's
ass.
ass every once in a while, right? And I don't think I think the Chiefs are very good. I think Kansas City's a very good team. I don't think they're as good as they were last year,
They're
and
not.
I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't
I don't see
care.
it.
There is another team that will figure it out. I don't. If it's the Bills, figure out a way. The Bills are out of the playoffs if they started today. So if the Bills creep in, and figure out a way to do it. I still think
Mm-hmm.
it's the Ravens.
Yeah.
But I think the Bills win this game because the Broncos are very bad. I don't think Russell Wilson will do anything of positive. He'll probably high knee his way home. on the plane. And that's about it.
That gives him a win automatically. Then,
Yeah,
while everyone is sleeping, he's getting work in. That's how he makes
I
it.
also think this is gonna be my hot take, and this is where I'm gonna be done for the evening. Is Sean Payton is drastically overrated as a football coach. I don't think he's nearly as good as people act like he is. I think he's a fine coach. I just
I
don't think he's.
I will say where he made his mark at was as an offensive coordinator. And what I'll say is the game has changed when he was away. And I don't think he's it's quite caught up to it just yet. I think that happens to a few people. They start off as really good offensive coordinators. Mike McCarthy, and then somewhere along the line they lose the new version of today's game,
Mm.
and they can't do it anymore. What where they so defense usually travels and defense usually doesn't change that well. So those defensive coaches like that, but those offensive coaches they just lose their way somewhere along the line.
I think it's he got rich off of having the perfect quarterback pair for him, right? For whatever his system is, he just happened to have the most accurate quarterback in the history of the NFL be his quarterback for all those years. And
But he was on the way up before that though. Like he did have that, but
oh,
remember he was not oh he was with the Giants. I think he was OC at some place with the Cowboys. He had been an offensive coordinator a few
sure,
places.
but so there's lots of people that have been great coordinators that
Mm-hmm.
have gone on to be head coaches that
And
have
have
not
stunk.
been great, right? And it's either not given time, doesn't have the right personnel. He happened to have the perfect storm of being able to get Drew Brees to come in and have a Hall of Fame career in New Orleans and be one of the greatest passers to ever play the game for him.
To that though, Drew Brees wasn't Drew Brees until he met up with Sean Payton. He was good
Oh,
and he had
Drew
an
Brees was,
injury,
yeah, and that's fine.
but
Like
he became
I
the
have
Drew Brees we know with Sean Payton.
I have no problem with the idea of a system quarterback because isn't that should be the goal of every team is to develop a
Oh yeah.
system that makes the quarterback great, right? That's what you want, and to be like, oh, he's just a system quarterback. I don't care. Is he in the system that he wins in? Then that's all that matters, right?
Yep.
Like, so he's amazing in a system that wins. Then that's great. But I think I just like I think this is more hater than anything else. I just don't like Sean Payton. I don't think he's that good of a head coach. And I'm sure everybody's gonna be like, "You're insane," and that's fine. I am insane. I'm just saying I don't like the dude. I did like the time that he offside kicked to start the second half of the Super Bowl. That
Mm.
was a great move. But beyond that,
Not having Saints practice in West Virginia because of that was a great move too.
yeah, because that's where
His mistress
his
was
side
supposed to
chick was
be.
at. Yeah,
Yes, that was a great
yeah,
move. It's a good
well,
move.
I mean, and I don't think his side hustle of stealing and selling Vicodin
Oh
out
yes.
of the Saints medical facility is what made him a great coach either, or Bounty Gate, or all the other various things that make him more of a piece of garbage human being than it does anything else. Whatever. Doesn't make you a great head coach. You can be a decent person and be a good head coach as well. Just my 2 cents.
Hmm.
All right. Well, Harlan, we've been going at it for a minute here.
Oh
So,
yeah. Good intro. We'll taper it down and we'll figure it out because we're some ramblers. That's so especially
we
talking
went into this with the best of intentions of having like a format and like, oh, we'll do this and
5 minutes of this, 2 minutes. I was like 2 minutes. Oh, that's gonna be tough.
it's gonna be
It's
quick.
gonna
We're
be
gonna
tough.
just fly through this stuff, and then we talked about the two most depressing teams in the NFL.
Our teams though.
Our teams. Well, they're not the most depressing because we talked about the Panthers and the Raiders as
Cardinals.
well, and
Yeah.
the Cardinals. Those teams are really bad too. All right. Well, you know what we should do? I don't think we have a sign off. I don't have any
We
music for
don't.
this. We don't have
We don't.
anything. It'll
I
come
don't.
it'll come organically.
We might not have even introduced ourselves to people who didn't know us.
We just started talking.
We
So,
just
that
started.
means I'm going to have to record an intro and fade into the God bless it. I was just going to like chop this up and throw it out there into the world. Now I'm going to have to put in some work, Harlan. That's all right.
All right. But this was live on Twitch streaming. How many people did we get?
Well, after I close that tab, 0.
Oh,
And
there
that's
we
okay.
go. That's okay.
We're the only two people. And then after I told my daughter that, like, we can't watch Demon Slayer tonight, I'm going downstairs to talk football with Harland. And she's like, okay. She had it queued up. She had Netflix open, and she was ready to rock and
Ooh.
roll. And I was like, I'm sorry, kid, we can't do it tonight. So 3 people knew we were doing this, and she wasn't going to watch it. So,
No, it's tough.
all right. Oh, did you chat something? I pressed the chat button, but it would
That
screw
was a
up.
while ago. Yes,
Oh,
it
but if
was
I
it was the it was the UFC guy getting punched in the groin
oh
20 times.
if I press chat, it screws up the thing.
Oh, I see that. Yes.
Oh no, cancel. I don't want to do that. No, shit. There. All right, we're back. All right. Well, we should probably end it how we end every episode, Harland, which is
Peace.